What would it be like to play soccer if you had Shaolin Temple's ultimate kung fu skills? It might sound funny, but honestly, it really is hilarious. This is a brilliant idea that made for a blockbuster movie by Chow. The movie Shaolin Soccer immediately broke box office records in Hong Kong upon its release because in addition to being entertaining, it also conveyed many humanistic messages and inspiration. Back in the day, Ng Man Tat, also known as Uncle Tat, was the most famous football player in Hong Kong, nicknamed the Golden Legs. But when he missed a decisive penalty kick, angry fans stormed the field and broke his leg. The person who set Uncle Tat up was named Se Yin. Now he is a prestigious and wealthy coach, while Uncle Tat with his limp works as his ball boy assistant. If you hadn't given me that bribe money back then, I wouldn't be a cripple like this today, would I? In the past, Se Yin had set a trap for Uncle Tat, making him take money to deliberately miss a penalty kick. You should blame yourself for being too greedy and foolish. I was the one who arranged for someone to break your leg. Only now did Uncle Tat learn the truth, feeling a bitterness and humiliation beyond words. While wandering the streets, he met his brother An Tin. Xing said that he was actually a Shaolin disciple who had come down from the mountain because he wanted to spread martial arts in the city. Look at that girl over there. Just because of a banana peel, she fell as if she'd never fallen before. If she had learned Shaolin Temple's Qigong, she wouldn't be in so much pain, would she? And that other girl struggling to park her bike, if she had learned Shaolin Temple's internal strength, parking would be a breeze. Even someone who is disabled, if they learn Shaolin martial arts, they would be just like a normal person. Who says I'm disabled, huh? Uncle Tat angrily threw a can at Xing. Xing kicked a bottle so hard it probably flew all the way to the moon. But his main job every day is collecting scrap and rummaging through trash. Looking at those expensive sneakers, he didn't even dare to dream they probably weren't meant for someone like him. When he arrived at the scrapyard, someone asked him to help carry a refrigerator. But with his mighty diamond strength, why should he have to get his hands dirty? After a day of hard work collecting scraps, the boss only gave him 20 coins, not enough for 3 packs of instant noodles. How is he supposed to survive? As he passed a dumpling shop, he saw a girl making dumplings. Her skills were extraordinary. The girl's name was Amai, and her Tai Chi skills were at the 9th level. When someone upstairs threw a pot down, she caught it effortlessly, which left Xing amazed. With martial arts skills that impressive, no wonder her steamed buns looked so delicious. Taking advantage of the moment, Xing quickly ate 2 buns, but the girl was sharp and still charged him 100 coins for both. He emptied his tattered pocket but only had 50 coins left. Fine, I'll pawn these here. These shoes originally cost 2 coins, you know. I'll just take 1 more bun and call it even, okay? But the girl threatened to call the police, so Xing had to give them back. At that moment, the shop owner came over and started scolding the girl for gossiping instead of working. Xing grabbed another bun and made a run for it. The girl had to pay out of her own pocket to make up the difference, then took the shoes. Xing ran off to meet his former senior brother from Shaolin Temple, now working as a waiter. Back then, the senior brother was famous for his iron head technique, so even when the boss smashed bottles on his head, it didn't faze him. After that, the senior brother helped Xing get a job as a singer at the restaurant. But he sang so badly that the audience beat him up mercilessly. One punk kid thought Xing had the iron head technique, so he kept pounding on his head. Xing wanted to fight back, but as someone from Shaolin Temple, he valued patience, so those guys took advantage and hit harder. Meanwhile, Uncle Tat was peeing by the roadside when he noticed the can he drank from the other day on the wall, and inside was still Xing's business card. When he yanked the can out, the whole wall collapsed. On the other side was Xing, standing there shirtless. It looked like a group of 6 guys were holding sticks, getting ready to beat him up. I promised not to use martial arts to fight people, but I guess today I'll have to break that rule. He only threw a few warning moves, so the others weren't scared yet, and even dared to throw the ball at him. What a foolish mistake. With another kick, 2 of them collapsed and the wall was left with a dent as if it had been hit by a meteorite. Only one guy with Mantis-style martial arts was left, but never mind, here's 30xu, take it, that's enough to buy a bottle of soybean milk to stave off hunger. Uncle Tat had witnessed everything just now. Those legs reminded me of a glorious past. Why don't you try using those legs to play soccer? Back in the day, I was a player who won the Golden Legs award. Hearing that, Tin excitedly asked him to teach him soccer techniques. But at the very least, you need to have a pair of shoes, right? Tin immediately went to the girl to ask for his shoes back. It turned out the girl had taken them home to patch them up. Tin immediately ran to see his elder senior brother to invite him to play soccer, but the elder senior brother had lost his fighting spirit, so they went to see the 4th senior brother, Tran Kwok Hon. He looked just like Bruce Lee and was famous for his grappling skills, but when he heard about soccer, he shut the door and turned them away. Still determined not to give up, the two went to see their third senior brother Dien Kai Van, now a well-dressed stock trader with his own bicycle. The third senior brother was famous for his iron shirt technique, but he was busy with clients and sent the two away as well. Next, the two went to see the sixth junior brother, who had mastered the water walking lightness skill. I used to glide atop the treetops as lightly as the wind, but after getting hooked on Chinese snacks, I can't even roll myself, let alone talk about lightness skill. Next, it was the second senior brother's turn, sitting and washing dishes, truly feeling down. Handsome as I am, yet I have to sit here with these filthy bowls. Get lost all of you, or I'll cut you down. At this moment, all six of them, though refusing, still looked back at the old photo. They were once martial arts prodigies, but life pushed them around, and even Mr. Dat had lost his spirit by now. Let's just give up, Tin. They won't come. But in reality, the opposite happened. All five of the old Kai brothers showed up together. The first practice session began immediately. Tin accidentally kicked the ball high into the sky, so the whole team just sat around waiting for the ball to come back down. Exactly 1 hour later, the ball finally landed, so everyone, annoyed, stomped on it. Coach Dat had a hard time training this team of people who had plenty of energy but lacked technique. He brought out eggs to make them practice ball control by using their feet to cushion the eggs. The chubby guy smelled the eggs and rushed over to slurp them up, truly like a mother hen. The second egg, Coach Dat threw at a sensitive spot. The chubby guy dashed over like a moth to flame. Tin quickly threw one into the third senior brother's mouth, so the chastity of his mouth, kept for decades, was lost. By the second day, he could juggle eggs like a ball, but the third senior brother still bore the consequences. On the third day, practicing kicking the ball at the target on the wall was still a bit awkward, but by the fourth day, it was as easy as pie. Uncle Dat suddenly noticed an earthquake, but it was actually because Singh couldn't hold back his strength and, excited, unleashed his full kicking power to let his leg feel free. But soccer is a team sport. What's the use of playing alone? Uncle Dat immediately invited the neighborhood's bachelor youth team to be their opponents. But this team secretly brought along wrenches without anyone knowing what for. As soon as someone fell, they were trampled in a terrifying stampede. The teammates on the other side suffered the same miserable fate. Now it became clear what those wrenches were for. It truly was a massacre on the football field. Moments later, the situation became extremely dire. Tin crawled forward like a brave soldier, braving a hail of bombs and bullets, determined to rescue his teammates, still trapped above. Suddenly, Uncle Dat appeared. Come on, get up already. What on earth are you imagining that's so intense? You saw them beating people up. Why didn't you blow the whistle? How dare you argue with the referee? Red card, off the field. This is just a light test. If you can't even get through this, how will you beat other opponents? Football is a battlefield. Outside, the third senior brother couldn't take it anymore. He raised the white flag and surrendered, to the disappointment of his teammates. I beg you guys, please let me go, doctor. Hey you, take off your underwear and put it on your head, then I'll accept it. That's right, I'm a dog. I deserve this. Truly, everything is hard at the beginning, and hardship makes you want to give up. But that very humiliation ended up stirring the pride of the other teammates. Almost all of them managed to rediscover their true selves. They were the grandmasters of Shaolin Temple. They started to give their opponents a taste of their own medicine, even adding a bit of shrimp paste to make sure their opponents got a mouthful. The iron shot technique of the third senior brother was formidable, bending even a wrench. The sixth senior brother, as goalkeeper, caught balls with the skill of David De Gea, though his final penalty hit the post, but it was still enough to make the local youths run for their lives. Everyone knelt to thank each other, and the local youths also asked to join the team. Meanwhile, Tahian was training his team at home, and it turned out this was to build such astonishing strength. At this time, Uncle Dat went to the Football Association to meet Tahian and register for the tournament. Tahian mocked him for a while but eventually agreed to let them participate. In the evening, Tin went to see Amai, then took her to a fashion shopping center. She had never been to places like this before, and she didn't even dare to touch the clothes. Tin wanted to thank her for sewing his shoes because it gave him the motivation to strive forward. Tin brushed Amai's hair aside and praised her enthusiastically. You look beautiful, Amai. Unfortunately, a fly ruined the romantic atmosphere and it took him 2 tries to finally swat it. Oh, he didn't actually bring her here to shop. In fact, he came here to do some extra floor cleaning in the evening. The next day was the team's first match. As soon as they entered the field, third brother got a yellow card for smoking. When the referee blew the whistle to start, Tin immediately kicked the ball into the goal. On the opponent's kickoff, Tin stole the ball and scored again. After that, many more goals were scored, with both players and the ball flying into the net. At this point, Tahian's side also received news that Tin's team had won by a margin of 40 goals. Next was the second match against the blue team. The goals kept coming like a tennis match. The third match against the red team was filled with spectacular goals. The opposing team, apart from picking up the ball, didn't know what else to do. After 3 matches, the team's reputation surpassed expectations. Amai, to look beautiful, had cosmetic surgery. Meanwhile, the Shaolin soccer team got sponsorships. From now on, they'll be saying goodbye to this pile of old shoes. Tin went to the bun shop but didn't recognize Amai anymore. He gave her a new pair of shoes and then brought them out to show his teammates. Oh, and both of them said they liked each other, but is this really love? They had never dared to dream of something so extravagant. The next day was the semi-final match, but their opponents were too strong, flying like birds and running as fast as ostriches. But luckily, their shots still couldn't get past junior brother Luke's reach, and he even threw the ball all the way to the goal for a score. Could it really be that everything will just keep going this smoothly? Tin came to find Mai to invite her to watch the final match, but she no longer worked there. He threw away the leftover pieces of bread as if they were soaked with the saltiness of tears. But now it's time to head out for the final match. After 20 years, Uncle Dad finally got to return to this atmosphere. The championship trophy up high is waiting for them, but will Tahian's opponent really be that easy to handle? The referee blows the whistle to start the match. The opening phase was nothing special until Tin made a shot sending the ball flying like an arrow, but the opposing goalkeeper stopped it effortlessly with just one hand. How terrifying! The goalkeeper even threw the ball back to Tin, inviting him to take another shot at the goal. What on earth is happening here? Summoning all his strength, he aimed for the top corner and shot, yet the goalkeeper still caught it effortlessly. Then he invited him to take another shot, this time with the force of a nuclear missile, but the opposing goalkeeper still caught it. Who would have thought American stimulants were so powerful? Before the match, Tahian injected the players with serum and bribed all the referees and the sports federation. When the opposing team shot back, it sent senior brother Luke flying, but he still bravely took the role, even though his hands were bleeding. By the second shot, he couldn't hold on any longer. The striker shot straight at his face, sending him flying through the net, while the ball shot out of bounds. The referee gave them a throw-in since they'd already been bribed. Junior brother Luke was carried off. Then third senior brother used his iron head to fight for the ball. He rammed his head, his face distorted, but still couldn't beat the other guy. At this point, Fatty's #1 lightness skill meant nothing. Even a dragonfly could fly higher. Second senior brother was beaten black and blue. The referee ignored it, blew the whistle, end of the first half. It was only the first half, but the whole team was already seriously injured. How could they keep playing? Uncle Dad also thought that they must have used some kind of stimulant. The other players were so scared that they all went home. Now the whole team was down to just 8 people. The second half started soon after. 5 people formed the R-Hut formation, but one kick from the opponent shattered them. Only third senior brother, with his iron sledgehammer, stood in front of the goal before the opponent finished. Sensing something bad, he called home to say his last words to his wife and children. The opponent took the first shot, then followed up with a second. He gathered his strength and braced himself, sinking into the ground. All 10 opposing players took turns kicking with all their might, each ball like a bullet at him. After about 15 minutes of letting them kick until their legs tired, third brother used his strength to hold the ball steady in front of his stomach, then counterattacked, and the rest of the team regained momentum, charging forward together. Tin hooked the ball like Ronaldo into the top corner, but the goalkeeper made a desperate save, knocking it out of bounds. The opponents realized how dangerous Tin was, so they did everything to take him down. One locked his legs while 2 others rushed in and kicked him, leaving Tin seriously injured. The referee even told him to stop faking it, even though his leg was badly bruised and his bone was swollen. The opposing striker also gathered his strength and fired a shot like a cannonball. The ball spun straight into the stomach of third brother. The force was so strong that it tore off all his clothes and even broke the camera. Third brother collapsed and had to be carried off. Now they only had 7 players left. If no one else joined, they would have to stop the match and forfeit. Just as the referee was about to blow the whistle, Amai arrived to substitute in. Taichi is very suitable for the goalkeeper position. Unfortunately, she went to the wrong goal, and when she turned back to kick off, she sent the ball straight to the opposing striker's feet. But I'll let you take your shot. You think some of that stupid stimulation can hurt my goal? You're not old enough for this, kid? Amai spun the ball as hard as she could and then threw it up. Antin also gathered his energy and kicked to add even more power. The spinning ball shot off like an American ballistic missile, heading straight for the opponent's goal, sweeping up everything in its path. Tahian, annoyed, shoved his teammate but ended up falling backward and busting his mouth. At that moment, the soccer field looked like it had just been hit by a storm. Oh, and since all the opponents had fainted, of course our team took the championship. Antin raised the trophy high in celebration. Tahian's side was also caught cheating and sentenced to 5 years in prison. On the street, Antin ran into the girl who slipped on the banana peel the other day. Everyone knows doing good deeds is wonderful, but if you park like this, you'll be buying a new car soon. That's the end of the movie. If you enjoyed it, please subscribe to my channel to support me.